What's up, guys? This is my 45th time recording this. If you can't tell, I got a new laptop, so a little bit better camera, not really spotlight on me. There's a bunch of stuff going on. I won't be able to explain it. I just wanted to show you like my the Criterion titles that I've gotten, and just wanted to go from there, and I'll be able to explain further. Breathless is the first film that I got because I wanted this on 4K. I didn't have a Blu-ray copy of this. Breathless, I don't think needs an introduction. It's famous 1960 new wave French film, first film made by Jean-Luc Godard. I think it's a really good film. Godard would make better films in the future, of course, but this film, made in 4K, not made in 4K, restored in 4K, was really really awesome to see. It was black and white films have all the love, man. Like whenever it comes to colors, people kind of have like differing opinions, but whenever it comes to black and white, Citizen Kane looks fucking awesome. Breathless looks awesome. Like, a lot of good stuff. So I think that this film is wonderful. If you have not watched this, then I would highly recommend you do, because it is a not only is it a cool film, but it's sort of like a comfort film in a way. Like there's literally 40 minutes of it just like in this woman's like Parisian apartment. But I think it's a cool little film, and it's almost like kind of tender in a way, and that's what I really like about Breathless. I could talk about it more, but there's so many channels that you can just like watch, and uh, you can find like what the importance is, and like the jump cuts and all that stuff. But whenever it comes to just like your immediate like senses of Breathless, that's what I really like about it. Is just it's a tender film. Yeah, definitely go ahead and check it out, because the restoration and the 4K on this, I think, is pretty good. Okay, so when I initially wanted to do this sale specifically, what I really wanted to do was there was two Nick Rogue 4Ks that came out, Walkabout and Don't Look Now, and I just thought to myself, you know what? I already had Performance that I reviewed. I already did what is it? The Man Who Fell to Earth. So I just thought to myself, you know what? Let's just do it. We're gonna do it live. We're gonna get um I'll just walk about, don't look now, and insignificance, dude. So I got all the Nick Rogue stuff that's updated from Criterion. Unfortunately, no bad timing or Eureka, but I'll explain that. So we first have Walkabout here, that I will give my full thoughts on in a future video, because this is my favorite Nicholas Rogue film. It's an absolute classic. If you have not watched this, drop everything, watch this. It's one of the great films of all time. And that's, a humble YouTube reviewer, kind of humble YouTube reviewer like myself. Um, I would debate that too, but this is a pretty. This is just one of the great films of all time, and I'll be able to explain it further. I've wrote like endless stuff on the film, so yeah, I'll just go ahead and just do another video, because we will be here for another hour, just me talking about this. So I don't know if I brought this up in a previous video, but the previous Blu-ray that was made in 2010 has a bronzing issue, which is like commonly referred to as disc rot, where if you put it in a Blu-ray player, then if you watch it too many times, then you will eventually just it'll be completely unreadable. And so I'm glad that they released this 4K of Walkabout, and I really do hope that. Well, I'll mention it later. But for Walkabout itself, I'm glad that they released the 4K of it, and like I said, I'll be able to mention the review and what my thoughts are on the transfer and all that stuff, because I did watch it just now. So Don't Look Now. This was released by Studio Canal, I believe, 3 years ago, and I heard great things about it. I kind of kick myself like getting this, because the Studio Canal version actually has Nick Rogue's commentary on it, which I love Nick's commentary on Walkabout, and also The Man Who Fell to Earth, which was a Criterion extra that you can actually see for free on YouTube. And with Don't Look Now, it's probably his most famous film, I would say. And I have like a weird story, and I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but see, because I watched a lot of TV because I was the only child, but watching like the Bravo channel, they had like a thing called like the 100 scariest like movie moments or whatever. And the creator of this did not believe in spoilers. It just show everything at the end of every movie. Just let's spoil every single horror movie we can find. And look, your thoughts on like spoilers or whatever like that. You could be a spoiler guy. You could just whatever. But most people I've encountered do not like spoilers. They do like the immediacy, and they don't want to have like any presuppositions when they watch a film. They just want to go into it and experience it for themselves. Now that could have that could also be a negative connotation, because sometimes you do need the historical perspective of something in order to kind of get a better understanding of it. But when it comes to like Don't Look Now, the ending was spoiled to me, and I have not watched this film in a long time. And I've always, and even though that Nick Rogue has had this critical reevaluation, I don't even think it's a reevaluation. I just think he has like a lot of cult followers and such. But Don't Look Now is one of the great films of like his generation or era or what have you. It's one of his crowning jewels of his career. But for me, it's just like such like I'm just weird about it. Maybe it's just like I just need to watch it again and just get over it. But Don't Look Now, I'm glad I have in my collection, and it was out of print in here for in the States for a long time. Not a long time, 2 years, right? Something along those lines, and they got the rights back and that whole Paramount thing or whatever. And then the last one is Insignificance, which came out. This edition came out in 2011, and Insignificance was misunderstood at the time. It's even misunderstood now, and it's a great film too. It's and the thing about Nick, this turns into the Nick Rogue appreciation video, but the reason why I wanted to get this is because there's a lot of great British directors. Obviously, Alfred Hitchcock, Howlin' Pressburger, Ken Loach, Ken Russell, David Lean, which Nick Rogue worked with. He worked with David Lean as a cinematographer. So so just from all those people, most of them not necessarily like Ken Russell and maybe Ken Loach, but like they have like a stately thing about them because of course they're British, right? Like they have this sort of stately talking sort of. There's action in their films as well, but it is mostly just like a stately style. Even though that, and I love the ending of like Lawrence of Arabia, where David Lean just pretty much crushes that whole notion that okay, this is over. But when it comes to like British directors, Nick Rogue has been on record in saying that he doesn't find himself to be a British director. He just finds himself to be just one that finds cinema to be a universal language, all that pretentiousness. But I have not found a director well, there's a lot of directors that have made like one or two really good movies, and two, like maybe even three, that have like you could really discuss and think about, and they're masterpieces, right? All of Nick Rogue's films that I have watched, and not just this, Walkabout, Insignificance, Don't Look Now, Man Who Fell to Earth, even Bad Timing to Eureka. Those films, I think, are all great. And there's not a lot of directors that you can say are just like maybe like one or two movies that you can discuss are like really masterpieces, and the rest of them are just okay or just not even worth talking about. All of these are worth talking about. That's how good Nick Rogue was as a director. And I think that, and performance, and I forgot about performance. How could I forget about that? So I think that like going through and doing these reviews, it will be a lot more than just me saying, oh, this is good, whatever. It will be like more in depth into what has gone on in Rogue's career at this point, because Walkabout will be like probably like a 30-minute video. I don't know. I have like a lot of notes on that. But that's what I got in the pipeline basically for the end of this month, is just to do that, do those videos, and then eventually just do some other stuff, and hopefully get the Pasolini videos out, because I'm still trying to write on that and trying to make it halfway decent. So anyway, that was all that I got. You know, probably disappointing whenever it comes to like just different titles, right? But whenever it comes to the titles that Criterion has released into 4K, I will be able to say that and I'll release another video later on about like because I think enough time has passed where I can look at future 4Ks and Blu-rays that I might be able to pick up later on. But just for Criterion itself, whenever we were looking at the previews, that's what I wanted to do, was just complete the Nick Rogue experience and collection. Even though that I can't really complete it yet because Bad Timing has not been released in the United States on Blu-ray. It has been released in Region B, but looking at all the reviews, it just seems like it's like a little bit of an uptick in the DVD. Eureka is on Blu-ray from Twilight Time, and then they closed down 2 years ago, so their Blu-ray is like $40, which honestly I might just pick up and just call it a day, because I don't know if that film is ever going to be restored or anything like that, because that's with MGM. So who knows? Because MGM has a good relationship with Kino, so they may be able to pick it up. I don't know. Anyway, those are the films that I picked up, like it or hate it, whatever. But I will be able to talk about this more in depth and detail later on in the month. So again, thank you guys for watching, subscribing, all that good stuff. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. Have a good night and have a good week. Happy Thanksgiving.